very good overview of the industry because you're working as an entrepreneur with investors looking for new ideas and what's driving cloud computing and the data center world forward. So what are the most interesting topics at the moment? What are the most interesting deals on the table?
What's really interesting in the industry at the moment is two dynamics that are driving significant take-up. So the first is people moving to cloud. Everyone knows about it, everyone talks about it, but actually it's still in its infancy in terms of the progress of industry to get onto cloud. But what we are seeing is obviously the battle between the Azures and the AWSs on one side, but also people that are getting the message of cloud but still wanting to go on their own dedicated infrastructure. So, and what the data center industry is interested in, of course, is people moving off-premise into the neutral data centers and managed areas, which is where the most profitability can be extracted from in terms of the operator side of things. So that's one driver, this big migration to the cloud. The second driver is the consolidation play. So as this industry is getting more and more mature, you're seeing more M&A starting. And these are big deals happening, billions of dollars worth of transactions to get sort of land grab, sort of market leadership positions in different industries and economies. The people that will get this critical mass are the ones that are going to survive. And I think there are markets in the world where you can be a strong number two, a strong number three, but there are markets where if you're not number one, you're dead. And this comes from the sort of the virtuous circle that gets created in a data center between content and connectivity. If you happen to have that in a smaller market, you do a very nice, very good living. If you don't have it, you're not going to do it.
Do you think we're going to see a shift in the focus? Will perhaps the focus shift in the industry from the established Northern European, North American markets to emerging markets?
What's really interesting about emerging markets is the local demographic growth. I mean, if you take Africa, for example, you've got Nigeria, 170 million people, very high penetration of mobile phones, moving to 400 million people within sort of the next 10 years. And you kind of think, well, that's bigger than America, that's bigger than Europe, right? You've got to be there, you've got to serve this market. Of course, there are the issues, you've got potential corruption, you've got regulatory issues, you've got unstable politics, and you've got depreciation of currencies, all these things. But you've got to think that the opportunity outweighs the risks in these things.
In terms of your view of where we're going, you talk to a lot of people in the industry, you look at a lot of business plans, a lot of proposals in front of you. What's your outlook? I mean, firstly, are you positive? And secondly, where do you think the most interesting opportunities will lie?
I still believe that this industry, the data center sector, is the most dynamic and exciting market to be in. It sort of sits in that world somewhere between real estate and technology, and it's neither, but it's both. And I think if we look at historically, real estate is fundamentally a sound investment, but if you combine the demand and take-up of that with the fact that everyone's moving to the cloud and the internet is going to be bigger tomorrow than it was yesterday, that's for sure. So you link those two things together, you may have cyclical performance of these assets, but over 5, 10, 15 years, they're just going to go one way. So I think for me, it's the best industry to be in.